Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to NABARD ARD static series through MCQs. Today, under the chapter Plantation and Horticultural Crops, we will be discussing about propagation method. First, I'll answer the question that I had given you in the previous video, and then we will see what is propagation, what are the different types of propagation, and your PYQs based on this concept. Okay. But before that, I'd like to let you know about the initiative that has been taken by EduTap as we have launched this comprehensive NABARD guidebook for you. This is your one-step solution to all your queries regarding NABARD. Like if you want to know what is a NABARD as an organization, what is the functioning of NABARD, everything is covered in this guidebook. And also if you have doubt regarding NABARD exams, like how many phases are there, what is the syllabus, what is the eligibility criteria, everything is covered in this book. And also it is providing you 6-step strategy and resources to crack this NABARD exam. And that too for free. Students, yes, you heard it right. This is for free, and to avail this guidebook for free, you have to go to the description box, click on the link, register yourself, and download this guidebook for free. Okay, now students, let's start our video with the question that I have given you in the previous video, which was, which of the following tillage implement can perform in primary as well as secondary tillage in a single pass? Your option are rotary tiller, chisel plow, rotavator, harrow, both A and C. And right answer for this question will be both A and C. As we have discussed, your rotary tiller or rotavator is a tillage implement which is performing your primary as well as secondary tillage at one go. Okay. Now moving on to the question for today's topic. So question is, dash is the multiplication of plants with the aim to increase the number of plants. Options are propagation, sexual reproduction, separation, all of the above, none of the above. Students, now let's first discuss the concept and then try to answer this question. Okay. So basically, I'd like to tell you about propagation. Students, your propagation is multiplication of plant. Okay. Why we are multiplying? Because we want to increase the number of plants. Okay. So that is your propagation. So basically, propagation is your multiplication of plant with the aim to increase the number of plants. Okay. And also we are trying to conserve the parent material. Okay. In some cases, we try to conserve parent material. That is why also propagation is done. And for example, as you have seen in your home, you cut a cutting of money plant and you increase the number of plants, okay, through this cutting. So that is also a type of propagation. So basically, students, when we are multiplying or when we are increasing the number of a particular plant, that is your propagation. That process is known as propagation. Now let's discuss the question which was, dash is the multiplication of plant with the aim to increase the number of plants. Options are propagation, sexual reproduction, separation, all of the above, none of the above, and right answer will be propagation. So propagation is that method. Propagation के through हम क्या कर रहे हैं? अपने एक plant की progeny को बढ़ा रहे हैं, उसका number बढ़ा रहे हैं. It can be done in any way through any propagating material, okay, like your seed or any part of the plant. So when this process is basically called as propagation. Now moving on to the next question, which says, dash is the propagation method by seeds which are formed after successful pollination and fertilization. Your options are sexual propagation, asexual propagation, both A and B, micro propagation, none of the above. Now, propagation method has been asked to you. यहाँ पे एक propagation method पूछा गया है. So first, let's discuss what are the methods of propagation and then try to answer this question. Students, there are basically two types of propagation method. First is your sexual propagation method. Second is your asexual propagation method. In your sexual propagation method, our propagating material is seed. Okay, as I have discussed with you that propagation क्या है? Multiplication of plant through a propagating material, and that propagating material can be your seed. And if that propagating material is your seed, then we are calling it your sexual reproduction, because in your sexual reproduction, all your process, your pollination, your fertilization, all is being done. After for the formation of seed, these processes are happening and then your seed is forming. So that type of propagation method when we are using seed to propagate a plant is called your sexual propagation. Okay, am I clear? Now moving on to the next type, which is your asexual propagation. Students, apart from seed, when we are using any part of the plant apart from seed, okay, it can be your root, stem, leaf, bud, anything apart from seed. When we are not using seed, then it comes under your asexual propagation. Now students, I like to add here that in your sexual propagation, your two gametes are fusing, okay? There is a fusion of two gametes. So the characters of your mother plants are not preserved. But while in your asexual propagation, this is the propagation directly through the plant without involvement of without involvement of seed. Okay, we are not using seed. We are using a part of parent plant. So your characters are your all mother characters are stored in this type of propagation. Okay, they are preserved in this type of propagation. Now let's first discuss about the sexual propagation. What is sexual propagation? As I have already told you that multiplication of plant by seeds. Whenever we are going for multiplication of plant and that too by seeds, that too through seeds, that is your sexual propagation. Because the seeds are formed by after successful pollination and fertilization. Okay. Now you must know that you must be knowing that pollination is your when your pollen is transferred from anther to stigma. Okay. And fertilization is fusion of two gametes, fusion of your male and female gamete. That is your fertilization. And after that seeds are formed. And when we are using these seeds for propagation, that is your sexual propagation method. Now, this seed propagation is only possible. See, in some cases, in some plants, only seed propagation can be done. And what are they? In your coconut and your papaya, only seed propagation can be done. Okay. So these are very two important examples which can be asked in your exams, like which are the two plants or which among the following plant has the propagating material as a seed only. Okay, then it will be your coconut or papaya, whichever will be given in an option. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Now let's come to the question, which was dash is the propagation method by seed which are formed after successful pollination and fertilization. Now propagation method by seeds has been asked to you, formed after successful pollination and fertilization, and we have discussed that it is your sexual propagation. Okay. Now moving on to the next question, which says seed propagation is the only possible way to propagate in plants like options are mango, apple, coconut, papaya, both C and D. And we have just discussed that in your papaya and coconut, your propagating material is seed only. Okay. Moving on to next question, which has come in your NABARD Grade A 2019. The question is coconut can be propagated through which of the following technique? Options are seeds, grafting, budding, layering, none of the above, and right answer will be seeds. We have just discussed coconut and papaya propagated only through seeds. Now let's discuss about the asexual propagation. What is asexual propagation? Students, as I have already told you that whenever we are going for propagating of any plant material and that plant material is not your seed, okay, other than your seeds, all your plant material come under asexual propagation. Now, in this asexual propagation, what we are doing, we are taking a part of plant, be it your root, shoot, anything, we are taking part of plant and regenerating itself and regenerating it. Okay, we are providing medium to that part and that part is forming new plant. So that type of propagation is your asexual propagation. So it involves taking a part of taking a part of one parent plant, okay, and causing it to regenerate itself to form new plant. So that type of propagation is your asexual propagation. Now this asexual propagation is independent of sexual propagation processes. And what are those? Okay, that pollination and your fertilization, that is, there is no involvement of sex organ. So that type of propagation is your asexual propagation, where there is a no involvement of sex organs. Okay, and your asexual propagation is also known as vegetative propagation. Okay, as there is no participation of reproductive organ, so that is why through vegetative parts like your leaf, root, bud, shoots, we are doing propagation. That is why this is also known as vegetative propagation. Okay, now students, your asexual propagation can be done in various methods. Okay, and what are they? See, first is your cutting, second is your grafting, then we have budding, layering, and planting of modified orchids. Okay, so these are the different types through which asexual propagation can be done, and let's discuss them one by one. Okay, first let's discuss about cutting. What is cutting? Basically student, as the name suggests, cutting. यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are just cutting a part of plant, be it your stem, root or leaf. Okay, we are just cutting it, providing it the medium and letting it to grow new plant. Okay, so basically a part of plant, be it your stem, root or leaf, is being cutted and it is allowed to grow to give new plant. So that is your cutting. Okay, and under your cutting, we have stem cutting, root cutting, leaf cutting, and your stem cutting is most widely used. This type of your stem cutting method, propagation method, is most widely used. Okay, so you must know that stem cutting method is most widely used, and cutting is what? It is just cutting a part of plant, which may any part of plant, and allowing it to grow. So that is your cutting. Okay, now if this is clear to you, let's move on to another method, that is layering. Students, in layering what we are doing, the new plant that remain partially attached to your parent plant, and it is allowed to grow roots. See, in simple language I'll tell you that एक प्लांट है, उसकी हमने एक ब्रांच को क्या किया, उसको हमने एक ब्रांच को कवर कर दिया विद स्पैग्नम ग्रास एंड उसको हमने वाटर, वी प्रोवाइड मॉइस्चर टू दैट part of plant, and after some time it will start growing roots. Okay, with वो attach है अभी भी plant के साथ and it will start growing roots. So that type of propagation method is called layering. Okay, I'll explain it to you. Like, you have this branch. Okay, this is your branch. Now what you do, you just cover this part of this branch with sphagnum grass. Okay, with sphagnum grass of any other material, you just cover it, and then you apply moisture, you give moisture, you continuously, day by day, you provide moisture to that part. Okay, then what will happen? This part will start growing roots. Okay, here roots will start be growing, and you can cut this part, and you can cut this branch and grow it separately. Okay, grow it separately. So this type of propagation method is known as your layering. Now see, here I have told you that you are using sphagnum grass. Okay, but any medium you can use. Like, layering can be of many types. Okay, layering can be of many types, and some of them are I'll explain it to you here. See, first is your air layering. Okay, in air layering we are doing this thing, which I have explained to you, that in air layering we are doing this thing where we are covering a part of branch with this sphagnum grass or any material and providing water to it, and it will root. It will produce root, and we will cut it and will grow it. Okay, and we will place it in the soil, and that part will grow a new plant. Okay, so that is your air layering. Okay, next is your simple layering. In simple layering, we are not covering this with any type of material. What we are doing, we are just taking the branch and burying it into the soil. Okay, like you can see in the picture, we have buried this branch of this parent plant into the soil and allowing it to grow roots. Okay, now root will grow out from here, then we will cut it from here, and this will grow a new plant. Okay, so that is your simple layering. Moving on to the next, that is mound layering. Students, in mound layering what we are doing, here we are using a branch. Okay, but in mound layering we just cover base of the plant with soil. Okay, we just cover it with the soil. Okay, and whatever the stems will come from here, they will start producing roots and along with the new plant. Okay, so this will be covered, and whatever there will be a formation of any new stem or bud, it will start growing new plant along with the roots. Then we will cut it and we will sow it separately. Okay, we will plant it separately. So that is your mound layering. Okay, I hope air layering, simple layering and mound layering is clear to you. Now moving on to the next type, that is your serpentine layering. Okay, see, in simple layering we are just we are just putting branch and we are covering it with the soil. Okay, यहाँ पे हमने एक ही बार branch को tilt किया है, but in your serpentine layering what is happening, हमने एक ही branch को दो या दो से ज्यादा बार हम उसको सॉइल में दबा देंगे. इससे क्या होगा, हमारे नंबर ऑफ प्लांटलेट्स बढ़ जाएंगे. तो हम क्या करेंगे, उसको सॉइल में दबा देंगे और जब हम और प्रोसेस क्या होगा, एक जो स्टेम होगी उसको हम पहले थोड़ा सा सॉइल में ढक देंगे, फिर उसके बाद उसको we'll keep it in the air, then again we will cover it with the soil. So this type of in this format, whenever we are going for layering, so that is called your serpentine layering. Okay, so I hope this is also clear to you, and the difference between serpentine and simple layering is also clear. Okay, now let's go to the question, which was dash is the propagation method in which new plant remains at least partially attached to the plant while forming new roots, and the answer will be layering. Okay, we have discussed, the answer will be layering. Now next question is, among all type of cuttings that are widely used. Okay, leaf cutting, options are leaf cutting, stem cutting, root cutting, all of the above, none of the above. And we have just discussed that it is your stem cutting. All stem cuttings are widely used. Now moving on to the next type of asexual propagation method, which is your grafting. Now students, in grafting what we are doing, we are just joining two plants and we are just tying two plants and allowing them to fuse so that a new plant can be grown. Okay. Now in grafting you must know about two words. First is your scion and other is your rootstock. Okay. So scion is basically that part which is placed on the rootstock and that scion is allowed to grow. Okay. साइन बेसिकली वो पार्ट होता है, जैसे अगर आपको इस प्लांट को आपको प्रोपेगेट करवाना है, ठीक है, और रूट स्टॉक क्या होता है, मान लो ये प्लांट दिस प्लांट इज ससेप्टेबल टू वाटर लॉगिंग. ओके, ये प्लांट में क्या है, वाटर लॉगिंग की ससेप्टेबिलिटी है, तो इसके रूट में जब भी वाटर होता है तो ये लॉज कर जाता है. तो हम क्या करेंगे, ऐसा कोई प्लांट लेंगे, इसी स्पीशीज का ऐसा ही कोई प्लांट लेंगे जिसका जो रेजिस्टेंट हो वाटर लॉगिंग के. ओके, तो हमने इसका क्या लिया, दूसरी स्पीशीज का सायन और रूट स्टॉक ले लिया. अब हम इस सायन और रूट स्टॉक को फ्यूज कर देंगे, हम इन सायन और रूट स्टॉक को फ्यूज टाई कर देंगे और देन वी विल अलाउ दिस सायन टू ग्रो. दैट दिस इज कॉल्ड योर ग्राफ्टिंग. ओके, नाउ आई होप सायन एंड रूट stock are clear to you, and the process, such type of process is known as grafting, when we are just when जब हम दो plants को contact में लाके उसे tie कर देते हैं and allow them to grow, that is your grafting. Okay, now your grafting can be done in various methods. Like first is your approach grafting. Okay, in approach grafting what we are doing, we are just tying two plants together. See, here you can see two plants are tied together, and when these are fused completely, okay, when the cells of these two plants are completely fused, then we will cut out the desired plant. Okay, say we will cut out this plant from here and here, and this remaining plant, okay, this will be the remaining plant, we will let it grow. Okay, so this type of thing is known as, this type of grafting is known as approach grafting. Okay, now moving on to the next, that is your in-arch grafting. Basically in in-arch grafting we are doing same thing here, but we are cutting the we are cutting the bark and we are exposing few layers of this plant, and then we are tying it together so that they can fuse easily. So such type of grafting is known as in-arch grafting, and it has been mainly followed in mango. Okay, you must know that it is being followed in mango. Now moving on to the next, that is your veneer grafting. Students, as you can see in the picture, in veneer grafting we make a cut. Okay, we make a cut on the rootstock and then place the scion on the rootstock, then tie it together and allow it to grow. Okay, so that type of grafting is known as your veneer grafting. Moving on to the next, that is your wedge grafting. In students, in wedge grafting what we are doing, we are making a wedge shape in your rootstock and a V shape in your scion, and then placing this scion on the wedge and tying it together and allowing it to grow. So such type of grafting is your wedge grafting. Okay, so student, that was about grafting and different types of grafting method. Now moving on to the next method, that is your budding. Students, in budding what is happening, we used to select the buds. Okay, and the buds are also part of plant. Okay, we can use directly this bud and attach it to our rootstock and allow it to grow. So that method is known as budding. Here what we are doing, we are selecting some vegetative bud okay, which will act as a scion, and we will attach it to the rootstock and allow it to grow. So that process is known as your budding. That type of asexual propagation is known as budding. Now it can be done, your budding is also of various type, like your tea or shield budding. In your tea or shield budding, what we are doing, wherever there is a bud, we are cutting it in the T shape, and see, now here we have to place the bud in this is the rootstock, here we have to place the bud. So we are making a T shape incision here and opening this bark of the plant and placing the bud here. So that type of budding is known as T or shield budding. Okay. In eye budding, see, in eye budding, what we are doing, we are making eye shape incision on the rootstock and then placing the bud. Okay. Then this flap will open. We will place the bud and close the flap and tie it. That type of budding is known as eye budding. Now moving on to the next, that is patch budding. Here students, we are making a patch on the rootstock. Okay, there is a patch opening on the rootstock. Then we are using a patch with bud. Okay, we are cutting bud along with the patch and we are tying them together. That type of budding is known as your patch budding. Now moving on to the next method, that is your propagation through modified organs. Students, apart from your leaf, root, stem, buds, there are few modified organs in the plant which can also act as a propagating material. Okay, like in your banana, you must have seen that there are small suckers which come out of the root. Okay, which come out from the soil. They are called as suckers. Okay, and these suckers can be cut out. Okay, you can cut this sucker out and so it will form new plant. Okay, so that is a modified plant part which can be used for propagation. So in banana, suckers are used. Okay, now moving on to the next, that is your tubers. You must have seen that in your potato sometime this type of thing comes out. Okay, so that is why, this is because your tuber can act as a reproduction organ. Okay, it can act as a vegetative can act as a propagating material. Okay, see, and your tuber में क्या हो रहा है कि आपके जो tubers होते हैं, we can use the whole tuber for the propagation or we can cut the tuber along with the eye. Okay, these are called the eye. Okay, you can cut this tuber along with the eye and you can place this part of this piece of tuber in the ground, and this eye will form new plant. Okay, the new plant will be generated from this eye. So that is your about your tuber. Okay, now moving on to the next, that is rhizome. This you have seen in your home when अदरक आपने सबने खाया होगा. Okay, use किया होगा. So that is called your rhizome. So your rhizomes are basically modified plant part which grow horizontally on the ground. Okay, which grow horizontally in the ground and give rise to new plant. Okay, so that is your rhizome. You can cut this grow horizontally. Now you can use this rhizome. You can use one rhizome, cut it into several parts, and each part is capable of giving rise to new plant. So that is your rhizome. Now let's solve the question. Enarching grafting method is practiced in which of the following? Options are mango, bear, fig, all of the above, none of the above. Students, enarching we have discussed and it is being practiced in your mango. Right answer will be mango. Moving on to the next question, which is the eye of potato are useful for. This question has come in your NABARD Grade A 2017. Okay. The eye of potato are useful for micropropagation, vegetative propagation, sexual reproduction, all of the above, none of the, both A and C. So students, answer will be a vegetative propagation. We have just discussed about the eye of a potato. Okay. Now moving on to the next question, which has been asked in your NABARD Grade A 2019, which is which of the following is a stem that grows horizontally under or along the surface from which roots and shoots grow. Okay. Options are suckers, runners, buds, rhizomes, none of the above. And right answer for this question will be rhizome. We have just discussed that your rhizomes grow horizontally on the underground. Okay, this is for instance, this is your soil, this is your ground, and they horizontally grow under the ground, and they are capable of giving rise to root and shoots. Okay, so that right answer will be the rhizome. Now moving on to the next question, which says dash is a small plantlet that appear at the base of mother plant is a propagating material for banana. Options are tuber, sucker, both A and B, runner, none of the above. Student, this is the question which you have to solve, and do let me know the answer of this question in the comment box. Okay. So that was all students for this video, and if you like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and for downloading the PDF of this lecture you have to join us on Telegram channel. So that was all students. I hope you have liked the video. Thank you so much.